All right, so if I'm being completely honest about this, right? I'm not I'm not as excited as I was back when Neil Blomkamp was announced for a direct sequel to RoboCop 1 and it was going to be called RoboCop Returns. I'm pretty sure it was a direct sequel to the first one. I don't know if they were going to, retcon part 2 because a lot of direct sequels do that bullshit, but I was excited for that. And that didn't fall through, man. And I feel like that's becoming like it's not becoming the story of Neil Blomkamp's life. But come on, man. Like I don't know what's going on with the studios or the producers, whatever the case may be. I don't know what's going on with the fact that people will not just let Neil Blomkamp make his fucking direct sequels. And maybe I don't know, maybe it's him. I really don't know the ins and outs of it. But if you look at the track record, he was supposed to do Alien 5, which was actually a direct sequel to Aliens, and then Ridley Scott was just like, all right, I want to do an Alien movie again. I changed my mind. Who's that guy over there that you about to give Alien to? Give me my baby back, and I'll do Alien. And they told Neil Blomkamp, like, look, kid, like, we like what you did with District 9 and all that other shit, man, but it's Ridley Scott, man. We might have some nice parting gifts for you, but it's Ridley Scott. We gotta let him do Prometheus and Alien Covenant, whatever the fuck he wanted to do after that. And then he was going to do RoboCop Returns, and then that didn't fall through. But I will say this, man, because it's a TV show and not a movie, and I think they ordered 8 episodes for this. This is definitely, it's a little more intriguing in the sense that we're going to get to spend more time with the characters, a lot more time with RoboCop over the course of all these episodes in this world that Paul Verhoeven created in the first movie, man. I would like for them to continue on after the second movie. The third one you can just scrap. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, and I know I'm not the only one, so I don't want nobody talking shit in the comments because I know it's some like-minded people out there when I say some of us thought RoboCop 3 was cool when we were kids, man. We didn't know any better when we were fucking kids. I was like, yo, RoboCop's got a jetpack and holy shit, man, they killed Nancy. Actually, you know what? I wasn't impressed at all with the fact that they killed Nancy Allen in like the first 10 minutes of the movie. That was a big mistake. And even as a kid, took me right out of the fucking movie, for sure. I used to enjoy it as a kid, like the 2 cybernetic ninjas when the dude's like fixing his jaw after it gets dislocated. That shit was cool back in the day. But you watch RoboCop 3 now and it's like, I know a lot of people think part 2 in comparison to the first one ain't really nothing, but part 3 is just bad. They did this was the start of the PG-13 rating that kind of watered everything down, and the acting was never really top notch for me with RoboCop, but it's just like, it seemed like they were kind of slumming it with that third one when you go back and watch it, man. Like, it just was not a good movie, man. Shout out to the guy, I can't remember the guy's name from Thinner, the main guy from Thinner who actually played Murphy in that movie. Peter Weller didn't come back, but, it's not like he did a bad job in the movie, but I'm just like, this movie. And CCH Pounder was in it. I remember her. I remember them killing her off too. I was sad as fuck about that as a kid. But if we are picking up after the first one, I feel like tonally, this definitely has to be in the spirit of what Paul Verhoeven did, man, because he just created that sleazy, dirty, dangerous, bloody, grimy ass. I don't know which words I can think of, but y'all get what I'm saying. I think it took place in Detroit. But the world that he created, man, is a world that I feel like none of us want to live in. But I feel like you got to bring that back. Like, I don't want to see, as much as I didn't hate the RoboCop remake like everybody else did, I don't want to see a polished up, glamorized version of Detroit. I just don't want to see it. Like I said, I don't hate the remake. I actually I think the RoboCop remake has a better cast than any of the movies in the entire franchise. And I'll stand 10 toes down on that. I'll die on that hill. But I think the remake fucked up royally when they made it PG-13. They kind of changed up a lot of the story. I do want a remake or a reboot to stand on its own 2 feet, but as much as I don't mind that movie, I just feel like, we were just oversaturated with a lot of CG and Joel Kinnaman's not a bad actor. I just feel like he wasn't like you want somebody that's like a such and such is RoboCop. Like, that's what you want. Like, and I don't know if Peter Weller was that guy at the time, but he definitely became that guy. But you kind of needed, and it's no disrespect to Joel Kinnaman, I feel like you needed a much bigger name and a much better actor to headline RoboCop, even though he's playing like this, not lifeless, but he's just playing like this stern, stone-faced, experiment for the most part, man. And Michael K. Williams was in the remake, man. Michael Keaton, Gary Oldman, Jay Baruchel, like, come on, man. That entire Jackie Earl Haley, that entire cast, Samuel Jackson, that cast, top to bottom, was better than any of the cast in any of the fucking RoboCop movies in the franchise. That's just how I feel about it. However, we cannot go to PG-13 route with this new TV series. I feel like this has got to be a hard R rating. This has got to be TVMA, whatever y'all got to do. But the fact that James Wan is behind this, it does give me a little bit of hope. Now, I don't know if I'm alone here, but I have felt like James Wan, much like Del Toro, has kind of not so much been in the director's chair, but he's been stamping his name on a lot of shit for the past decade and kind of falling back. Like, him and Del Toro have really been doing that. And when their names are attached, you kind of get excited because you know the background that they come from, you know their humble beginnings and their track record. But a lot of the shit that they have stamped their names on over the years has not been all of that epic, yo. Like, it really hasn't. But I'm assuming that with a RoboCop series being ordered, you know, I would expect that they would know what's at stake here. I feel like this can be really good. It can be really good or really bad. I don't think this is like a middle of the road type of thing. Or maybe it can be. I don't know. But now more than ever, I feel like maybe it's time to go back and revisit the original RoboCop. I feel like I've seen the remake enough times. I don't want to go back and revisit part 3. But I feel like part 1 and part 2 for sure are the ones that I want to go back and revisit just to gear myself up for that. And it's not like we're going to get a trailer anytime soon. We're not going to get any behind the scenes, no B-roll footage. We're not going to get no stills, nothing like that. But I think the news of this is enough to kind of excite RoboCop fans, like especially the diehard fans out there. And I guess they want to, as they say, introduce it to a new generation. That's what they say every time they bring something back out from the 80s or the 90s or something like that. And sometimes they succeed, sometimes they don't. But I'm definitely curious to see what they do with old Robo. And see, you know, I don't know. Like, my expectations aren't super crazy through the roof, but I just hope that they make something cool. I hope that they make something gritty, something badass, like something that we can write home about. I don't really need RoboCop upgraded in the sense that, and who you get to play RoboCop is definitely, even though he's, you know, the whole visor thing is over, the helmet's on his head, like, we get it. But while RoboCop didn't have a really crazy off-the-wall personality, Peter Weller still brought something to that role where it was memorable for the kids, it was memorable for the adults. So I think who you get to play RoboCop underneath that suit definitely can be a make or break thing, because there was a TV show back in the day. I don't even remember who played him in the TV show, man. I don't even remember watching that shit. And you know, everything down to like the voice acting for the new game. I think it was Rogue City or something like that, which looks like a fire ass game. But we'll see what happens when they bring old Robo back, man.